You did everything right. You got into bed on time, closed your eyes, and clocked exactly 8 hours. So why does waking up feel like you haven't slept at all? There is a sharp medical distinction between being tired and being fatigued. Normal tiredness lifts after a good night of rest. Chronic fatigue sits in your body like a physical weight, completely indifferent to how much time you spent in bed. We tend to view sleep as a simple hourly quota, a bucket you fill until it reaches the 8-hour mark. In reality, it operates as a highly sensitive biological formula, requiring multiple systems to perfectly align. To find the actual root of your exhaustion, you have to stop counting hours and run your routine through a diagnostic funnel, peeling back the layers of your environment, schedule, biology, and psychology. Logging 8 hours of unconsciousness accomplishes very little if your underlying biological gears are grinding against each other the entire night. To even initiate the deep sleep cycle, your core body temperature has to drop by about 1 to 1.5 degrees Celsius. It is an ancient evolutionary requirement for rest, but modern, well-insulated bedrooms often sit at a rigid 20 degrees Celsius year-round. This ambient heat traps your body temperature, effectively blocking the brain's internal signal that it's time to sleep. Then there is the light in that room, specifically the 480 nanometer wavelength of blue light pouring out of our ubiquitous smartphone and laptop screens. This anatomical diagram shows exactly what happens. That specific blue wavelength penetrates the eye and activates a highly sensitive layer of receptors in the retina, known as iPRGC cells. In this flowchart, trace the chemical chain reaction. Activated retinal cells send a false daytime signal straight to the chiasmatic nucleus. That structure then hits the brakes on the pineal gland, immediately shutting down melatonin production. Through rigid thermostats and glowing screens, we have inadvertently designed our bedrooms to weaponize temperature and light against our own evolutionary sleep triggers. But suppose your bedroom is freezing and pitch black, and you still wake up entirely drained. That brings us to the second layer of the funnel. Your sleep timing is heavily influenced by your genetics, known as your chronotype. Roughly 15 to 20% of the population are naturally late-shifted wolves, meaning their biology is hardwired to sleep and wake much later in the day. This graph illustrates the clash. The yellow curve represents an early rising lion whose natural energy peaks in the morning, aligning perfectly with a standard 9-to-5 workday. The purple curve shows a wolf whose biological energy doesn't peak until the late evening. Forcing that late-shifted biology into an early morning societal schedule creates a severe misalignment known as social jet lag. The internal circadian clock is constantly fighting the demands of the external world. Late risers trapped in a 9-to-5 routine are not lazy or undisciplined. They are enduring a chronic, daily biological mismatch. This chart tracks the underlying data of our internal sleep engine. It measures the balance between two main drives: the circadian clock, which dictates sleep timing, and homeostatic sleep pressure, which builds throughout the day as a chemical called adenosine accumulates in the brain. If your environment is optimized and your schedule matches your chronotype, yet the exhaustion remains, the engine itself might be missing something. Often, the culprit is a hidden medical deficit. It could be an underactive thyroid, undiagnosed sleep apnea obstructing breathing in the dark, or a simple drop in iron or vitamin B12 levels. Millions of adults drag themselves through the week with these exact, easily testable conditions. Instead of seeking a diagnosis, they quietly assume they are just getting older or working too hard. Persistent fatigue is frequently a quantifiable medical signal pointing to a specific system deficiency, rather than a failure of your personal habits. Which brings us to the final layer of the funnel. There is a cruel irony to sleep. The harder you try to optimize it, the further away it gets. We surround ourselves with sleep tracking rings, specialized supplements, and heavy medications. We turn a natural bodily function into a high-stakes, stressful problem that we have to solve every single night. The human brain shifts through 4 sequential operating gears: arousal, alertness, relaxation, and finally, sleep. You have to move through them in order. You physically cannot jump straight from alertness into sleep. This creates the sleep effort paradox. The moment your brain perceives that you are actively applying effort to fall asleep, It interprets that goal-oriented focus as work. It immediately shifts your system out of relaxation and back into alertness or arousal. Escaping chronic exhaustion requires a shift in how you approach the problem. First, set up a cool, dark environment. Have a doctor check your biology for missing pieces. But once your head hits the pillow, you have to stop trying and just let your body do what it has evolved to do.